Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Listen and grow as Del questions the status quo, encourages you to think differently, and empowers you to make a better life. Get ready as Del challenges core beliefs, seeks the truth, and reveals the roadmap to the lifestyle you really want. And now your host, multi-millionaire, national award-winning investor, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Well, my friends, as we are moving into another Thanksgiving Day, it struck me in the last couple of days how thankful I am and how I wish that more people could say the same. I seen a couple things. I mean, we just went through a presidential election that proved that some 71% of the people were unhappy with what the world was happening around them, and they voted unanimously almost. I mean, it wasn't unanimously. It's, 51+% voted that, hey, we want to change. So as I look around, I see that pain. I see people struggling, but I also see a lot of successful people. But even some of the successful people have taken some pain hits lately. Stuff is just different. The world is different. And so as I sit back and look at things, I think to myself, boy, I'm happy. Boy, I'm satisfied. Boy, I'm so happy that I did what I did when I was 30-some years old. And that is to buy a bunch of real estate and continue to buy real estate ever since. And today what I'd like to do is talk to you about a whole arena of concepts that come to mind about what you should be thinking about. Or maybe it's not what you should, it's what I think about. And maybe you might want to think about them. Maybe everybody doesn't see the world the same way. So let me just start out by saying, look, one of the things I've noticed now that I'm getting older is I look out there and see people my own age still working. And I see them struggling. I mean, I got guys right now at my house painting garage doors. There's no rest for the hardworking American person out there. There is very little vacation time, very little time off, very little anything other than work. And the dollar doesn't go as far. So people are struggling. I watched a brand new show called Landman, and it really struck me because what it's about is the oil patches in northern and western Texas, where people, their entire lives and their entire families get up and go to work every day. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, work till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, taking massive risks with their life, struggling and working hard, and then coming home and trying to make a life out of what's left over of the day or the week or whatever. As I look around, I see that happening everywhere. I saw a young couple that owned a pizza parlor right down the street from where I live, and it made the best pizza I've ever had. It's incredible. And they went out of business, just like that. I don't know why. The place was always full. I don't know why. The pizza was great, but for some reason they went out of business. Business is tough right now. So I wanted to take you back to what really was supposed to happen, because now, even in the real estate world, there are creepy people that are doing creepy things. And I wanted to share with you the bliss of what really is supposed to happen. I see it happening. There are glimpses of people doing the right thing again. So let's talk about it. The first thing that I think you need to see when you're buying real estate is it allows you to do something that nothing else out there allows you to do. If you go buy stock, you pay what the stock is worth. If you go buy oil, you pay what the oil is worth that day. If you pay gold, you buy gold, you pay what gold is worth. But what we do, most importantly, is we start with a gain. We go and find a piece of real estate that we can buy for less than what it's worth the day we buy it. Now, granted, for it to be worth less, one of a couple things have to happen. Number one, there has to be a motivated seller. And there are all kinds of motivated sellers in the world. One of the things that has really broken my heart in the last couple of years is that I've come to lose a little bit of belief in people. I've seen some people do some real estate deals that make no sense at all. And you have to ask yourself, are these people dumb as a rock? Even people that I teach won't listen to me and do stuff that doesn't make any sense at all. This type of greed, aggressiveness, irresponsibility loses people money. I've never lost a dime in real estate. Never. And other than one thing, I bought a condo when I was a kid and never made my money back on that condo. But I bought it to live in. It was an investment. I didn't know what I was doing. It had nothing to do with being logical. I just bought a condo, thought I had to buy something. But other than that, I've never lost money. And when I teach real estate, I teach rule 1, don't lose money. So people always come back to me and go, well, why did I lose money? Because you didn't do what I said to do. Because you didn't follow the rules that I set out for you to follow. And that hurts. It really hurts me because I told you what to do and you didn't do it. And then you come back and you're upset. But it happens. And that's kind of what got me down about the world. But at the same time that I lose one person to stupidity, 2 other people changed their lives forever and retired at an early age. So you have to weigh that out in your life and say, is it worth it to keep helping people? Because you are hit with the beauty of the life change and then whacked on the back of the head with the ignorance of stupidity. So let's talk about what should happen. You should be buying a piece of real estate that's worth more than what you paid for it the day you bought it. Well, how do you do that? Well, usually you find a motivated seller or you find a distressed property. One of the two. You have to find one of the two. You don't just go buy a piece of real estate like you go buy shoes. You don't go down to the shoe store and go, look, I got a nasty 11 and a half size foot I need a shoe for. And then you go through all the stuff that they have and you look at what they have and you buy something that fits your 11 and a half. It doesn't work that way. You go out and buy real estate and there may be only size 8s and they don't fit and you shouldn't buy them. There may be size 15s and they don't fit and you shouldn't buy those either. But you're saying I need something to put on my feet, so I'll buy the 15s and they give you sores and they don't protect your feet and they fall off and life is miserable. And it was a bad decision. You shouldn't have done it. You should have waited. Lived in the shoes you have a little longer until you got to where you can find a pair. And you should be looking for your size at all times. Same thing with a deal. I'm looking for deals all the time, everywhere. And I'm turning down 10 or 20 options to every one I take. In fact, in reality, I'm probably turning down 100 to every one I take. But the reason I'm not counting it that way in my head is because I don't deeply research stuff that right off the bat shows up to be nonsensical. I mean, some stuff, especially after you've been in it for a long time like I have, you look at it and go, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's a ridiculous opportunity, not even an opportunity. So we're going to go out there. We're going to buy a house that's worth $200,000 and we're going to pay $100,000 for it. You go, boy, how do you do that? Well, you do it because it needs $50,000 worth of repairs. Now, you don't buy a house that's worth $200,000 that needs $50,000 repairs and pay $150,000 for it because by the time you've done the repairs, you've paid what it's worth. You've made no money up front. That is not the way to do real estate. You have to go buy that house for $100,000, put $50,000 in it, renovate it, own it for $150,000, and it be worth $200,000. Then you make the money, make the kind of money you need to make. But if you don't do it that way, if you don't make that instant gain, you don't do what I believe to be one of the most important aspects of real estate investing, instant capital gains. They're unrealized because you bought the profit, but you haven't either refinanced the money out yet or sold it to get the profit. But I didn't even realize that when I started, that was so available and so important. First thing I started with was it's cash flow stupid because I wanted to get out of my 12-hour-a-day job 6 days a week. And real estate provides cash flow. Now, here's a concept for you. Think about where your money's at and what is it doing for you. The only way you can retire is if you can replace passive income with earned income. Passive income means that your money is earning money for you instead of you earning money. That's the difference. So if your money doesn't earn any money, right, then you can never retire. But so many people believe that capital gains is money that you can live on. They think they're getting somewhere. But capital gains go up and capital gains go down. Values go up and values go down. Markets fluctuate. But cash flow is there. It's something you can count on. So I did something that I termed, and I've heard other people using my term now in other radio stations and other seminar groups, because they're all people that came from mine over the last 35 years, is they call it chunking. That's my term. I term that. It's like what I figured out was if I had a couple houses here, I could pay my house mortgage. If I had a couple more houses, I could pay my car payment, my electric bill, my water bill. A couple more, and I could pay for my food and my clothes, and I'm out. As soon as I can replace my earned income with passive income, I'm out. And that's very, very important because that's what it's all about. But what is your money doing? You have money in a 401k. It's sitting there. Does it pay you a check in the mail? No, it's exactly opposite of that. You pay money to your 401k. So on a net basis each month, you are net negative out of your lifestyle from your 401k. On the opposite, my real estate is net cash flow positive. Now, my asset's still there, just like your asset's still there in the 401k, but your asset may go up and down, up and down, up and down, but there's no cash flow. So I have a net positive cash flow, which at some point, if you accumulate enough of it, you can retire. And I have retired for 35 plus years, whatever it's been. So why do you do that? Why do you put money into something that doesn't pay you any money? Well, you say, well, because there's tax avoidance. There's tax deferral. It's not really tax avoidance. We'll get into that when we get into the tax aspect of all this. Let's talk about a paid in full home. Everything that Dave Ramsey ever taught was pay off all your debt. Pay off your home. Why? Get a $400,000 house. That's $500,000 of assets sitting there costing you money every month. You got property taxes, you got insurance, you got maintenance and repair. I got guys out there painting my garage doors right now. A landscaping company out here the other day. I have some marble company people come out here and repair some countertops I have. I mean, there's something to repair all the time. This is not something making you money. This is something you're losing money on, and you've got $500,000 tied up in it. Whereas if you took the $500,000 and went out and earned 10%, you could earn $50,000 a year. The $50,000 a year could take care of not only the mortgage payment, but the maintenance and repair. You'd have a net positive situation in your life. Net positive. But instead, you're living a net negative. $500,000 in this investment called a home, and it's a net negative every month, every year. I just got my property tax bill. I have a large home, and I got my property tax bill. Oh, my gosh. That doesn't matter because I have enough money to pay it because I have enough cash flow. But if you didn't, boy, that would be a burden every year to get that tax bill. Now, many of you pay it in your mortgage payment. You don't feel it as much that way, but it's there. So you've got a 401k that pays you nothing. That's your largest investment. Or maybe your home's your largest investment. It pays you nothing. So the two largest investments you have in your life pay you nothing. Then you have an IRA, probably not as large as your 401k. But again, your IRA pays you nothing. So here you are. 3/4 to 80, 90% of your net worth is tied up in these three assets, and none of them are paying you any money. How do you expect to retire? I know, I'm just going to save my money in my 401k till I have enough that I can quit my job and live off that money, and then my goal has to be to die before I run out of money. Literally, you want to die because you have no more money. Or, as happened in the last 2 years, I have never seen so many old people go back to work because they're in investments that are not paying them enough money to survive, and so they had to go back to work. It's just a scary, scary thought, right? So what do you have out there? Well, you have some savings accounts, pay a little bit. I have savings accounts. I feel it's necessary to have liquid cash around, available for emergencies and for future investments. They call it keeping a little powder dry, or having a little bit of money that's not invested, so if something great happens, somebody comes along that's a motivated seller, or there is a distressed property that comes available to you, you can buy it, and then you save up cash again and get yourself a good cash position again and try it again. And you do that for the rest of your life. And every year you buy something new and your income goes up, and your income continues to go up every year for the rest of your life. That's the goal. That's where you're headed with this thing, right? So when I look at people out there suffering, getting up and going to work at 50, 60, 70 years of age. Now, I've got kids that joined up here in 30 years of age, they're retired. We've got kids now that are trying to do it by age 25. We've got a bunch of kids that are 20 that are all buying apartment complexes right now that intend to be retired by age 25. Now, I don't tell you that to insult you or to insult your intelligence. There's no way, blah, blah, blah. No, yes, there is way. It does work that way. And these kids will listen to me, and these kids will work hard to do the right thing because they know if they do, they'll be like I was, retired by age 30-something for the rest of their life. Never work again. Never have a boss. Never have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drive somewhere and sit in a cubicle or go to work on a roof or get out on a highway and work in hot 110-degree temperatures. They'll never have to do any of that because they listened and they took action on good real estate investments. So the second thing we need to think about is this doesn't really make any sense if there's no cash flow. So after we make a giant instant capital gain, the next thing that's important is there's got to be cash flow. We'll take a short break. Be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Teaching you with a roadmap to creating the lifestyle you really want. Keep listening. The Del Walmsley Radio Show returns in moments.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how, learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team and get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007.
You're hearing the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Want more life-changing knowledge? Access our podcast and listen on demand at lifestylesunlimited.com under the radio tab. Now your host, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today we are working our way into Thanksgiving by giving thanks for all the wonderful things that real estate does for us. And we've already covered two of them. One was equity capture, which is where people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen people buy single-family rent houses and make as much as $50,000 a house and buy four of them in 1 year and make $500,000 or not make $200,000, whatever that is, and then pick up anywhere from $200 to $500 in cash flow each and really change their lives in just a year. You do that a couple years in a row, and boom, you're in retirement mode in most cases. Then we talk about the cash flow. It's absolutely important that you have cash flow. 99% of the people I meet and talk to them, I can prove to them in one simple equation that their money's not earning them anything. Most people's total net worth, if you take everything their net worth is only earning them less than 1% in return a year. There's no way you can retire with those kinds of returns. You need better cash flow returns than that. The next thing you got to look at is the tax situation. When you go out there and earn $100,000 a year, which is probably low for most people right now, I was watching this landman thing, and they're saying these guys that were these roughnecks were making $180,000 a year just being a roughneck. Dangerous job. A lot of people lose their life doing it. A lot of people get injured pretty drastically from it, but $180,000 seems pretty good pay. But it's still like they're barely existing. They can afford a truck, got themselves a pickup truck, and they got themselves a small house, and they've got themselves a family, and that's about it. That's not getting rich. So when you look at this, the reason is that you've got to pay taxes. And your income taxes are not the only taxes you pay. You're paying Social Security and Medicare taxes. If you work for someone else, you're paying 7.29 or 25, whatever it is, but it's over 7% in Social Security and Medicare combined. And if you own your own company, you're paying over 15% to the government in Social Security and Medicare taxes. Then you add your income taxes, which are progressive. The more money you make, the more they take. So it's anywhere from 15 to 42%. I'm in the 42% tax bracket. So what happens is that for every $100,000 I make, I have to pay $42,000 to the government. But the difference is I have real estate that allows me to take deductions for depreciation. And these deductions for depreciation, which are legal, allow me to offset my income. As I offset my income, the tax that owed on that income goes down. And so virtually, if done correctly, and this is very important, you're going to have to get a CPA to help you with this or come to my class and learn how to do it. But if it's done correctly, you can offset all of the income from your passive income. And that means you can earn $100,000 a year and not pay taxes. So if you're earning $100,000 a year at work and you're paying 40% of that away to taxes, you're only living on $60,000 a year. But if you make $60,000 a year in real estate, you're living on $60,000 a year. What does that mean? That means you don't have to completely replace your earned income. It's an amazing thing. Now, people don't understand this. They think, well, I have to pay for insurance. Yes, you do. And being self-employed, I have to pay for insurance also. We buy insurance. But when you work for a company, you buy insurance also. You just don't realize it because it's coming out of your paycheck. Now, maybe your company pays some of it, or part of it. That's a good thing. But all that is deferred compensation. That's saying, hey, I should have paid you more, but since I don't want to pay you more, I'll pay some of your insurance. No big difference. Bottom line is you're not making enough to get rich. And you're not getting anywhere in this world. You're not getting wealthier year after year after year after year. But it's because you're paying so much in taxes. Real estate investing allows you to manipulate your taxation. legally. That's what's important about this, legally, in a way that everybody who owns anything does, if they know what they're doing. And so the income out of a rental property, if done correctly, should be tax-free. But then there's one step further, which wasn't what I was talking about. There's a level where you actually are a real estate professional, where you do most of what you do is real estate investing. You make most of your money from real estate investing. You work at least X number of hours a year in real estate investing. I think it's like 720 hours or something a year. But it is a larger percentage of income than anything else that you do. It is your business. When you are a real estate professional, then you can take the losses, which normally you can only write off against your passive income. You can take those losses against not only your passive income, not only your excess loss allowance, which is in there. I'm not going to go into that, but they do allow you to take some of these excess losses, but also against all of your earned income, in which case you can get money back from the government each year. As you paid it in, you get it back. That's an amazing thing. When you look at that, it's increasing, it's multiplying. It's multiplying the level and the strength of what you're doing, multiplying it. Now, because of the taxation advantage, you don't have to work as hard or save as much to be able to replace your earned income. What you don't understand, though, is even if, let's say, you're making $100,000 and you now make 60 in passive and now you've replaced your earned income, you don't have to quit your job, or you could, or you go to part-time, or you could get a job you like. All you're doing is creating options. And the other thing you don't understand is that just because you got to 60,000 and you quit and you say, okay, now I'm living on the same thing I did. How do I get ahead if I don't work? You just buy more real estate. You go, well, how do I have more money to buy more real estate if I don't work? By realizing you were only living on $60,000 a year before, you were putting some of that away each year in your 401k or your IRA or paying down your mortgage, whatever you were doing. Those monies can now be diverted to buying new investments, in which case your quality and standard of living go up every year. And it should go up every year, should continue to go up every year, right? If it doesn't, then you're not making any progress in life. So the taxation piece of this is very important. Let's move on to the next piece. There is something called principal reduction. This one just blows my mind. It's because it's not visible. You've got a mortgage. You're buying this property with leverage. If you don't do real estate with leverage, you're not doing real estate. The only reason real estate pays a higher rate of return than any other investment is because of the ability to leverage it. Restate that. So because of that, each month, your tenants are paying down your mortgage. And on a house, it's a small amount in the upfront 30-year mortgage. On an apartment, it's a much larger piece, and especially if you have a shorter mortgage. If you have a 15 or 20-year mortgage, it goes down even quicker. But the bottom line is when you have a lot of real estate, you have a lot of principal reduction. And when you add that principal reduction up, it adds up. I think my principal reduction is $200,000 or $300,000 a year. That's income that I never see. It's just stuck on my income tax return somewhere and gets blown off by depreciation. So I don't pay for it. But it's there, and it's adding up. And my net worth is going up. Secret money, private money, and it's being paid for by your tenant. They're paying your mortgage down. You're not paying it down. They're paying it down. It's just unbelievable. So now you have to ask yourself, why have you not participated? In all these years, it's been there. It's been available to you. People were willing to help you, and you didn't do it. You're going to go through another Thanksgiving, and somewhere along that line, you're going to think about, I've got to get back up and go back to work again after this holiday. I'm going to continue to have to do that for the next 10, 20, 30 years of my life. I'm not ever going to be massively wealthy. I don't even really, maybe you don't even care about that. Wealth is, wealth brings with it issues. We call them rich people problems, right? Nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever easy, completely easy. But things are easier when you have money. Things can be dealt with in a different manner, and instead of stress and blood and tears and everything that comes with being poor and broke and pushed around, manipulated. Living a life of quiet desperation. Instead, you'd like to go into Thanksgiving with cheer and happiness. Maybe even letting people know next year at Thanksgiving that, hey, this last year was my year. I'm going to retire this year, or I'm going to retire next year. I'm going to get out of the rat race. I'm going to get off the gerbil wheel. I'm going to get out of the cubicle. I'm going to give up my life of quiet desperation and shout out with joy that this is a wonderful place to live, a wonderful world. We've got a new president. We've got new ideas. We've got new theories about life. We don't have to live trapped and controlled by woke leftist people telling us what to do. We can now go out and have fun again. We can go out and be entrepreneurial again. and it not be looked upon as if it was a plague, if you were like the devil incarnate. It's now the right time, the right place. The market is screaming it's the right time. The prices are back down to where they should be. The interest rates are coming down and are easier to get, financing easier to get. Larger percentage of the deal can be financed. You're getting a better debt coverage ratio. And there are deals left over from the bad couple of years behind us that are in distress that you can pick up for really good prices if you look hard and work hard to get them. This is it. This is that window of time that I told you was coming for the last 2 years. Hey, wait, it's going to happen. Hey, wait, it's going to happen. It happened. It's time. You need to be out there involved. You need to get in here if you don't know how to get out there and get involved. And you need to be out there making your life change. Make it change. Force it to change. Give up the life of quiet desperation. Go find the joy and the happiness that all these politicians are talking about. Not a lot of joy and happiness when you're working 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. Not a lot of joy and happiness left in that. Even if you like your job or you work that much, it's no fun. It's time. That's all I can say. It's Thanksgiving Eve. It's time to make that decision. Now, when you meet up at Thanksgiving and the Democrats told you if somebody voted Republican, you shouldn't even go to Thanksgiving with them, you shouldn't spend time with them, you shouldn't talk to them, then you understand the trap that you've lived in for the last 4 years. The trap of believing that life is miserable, that people are miserable, and that there is no opportunity that the government doesn't give you. You don't want to live for handouts and scraps. You want to live for abundance. And that's what I'm trying to teach you, that there is an abundance of opportunity out there for everybody. If you can change from your scarcity mentality that came from the Democratic rule to the abundance mentality that comes from the Republican rule, then you have a chance to change your life. But you have to make that decision to do that. Just because the political party in power has changed, that doesn't mean your brain has changed. Your brain right now has been sold a bill of goods and is trapped to believe that your life will always be filled with a life of quiet desperation. Time now for you to find a change. You don't have to like the politicians on the other side, but you have to like what you can do while they're in power. Now, I've done it through both Republican and Democratic parties because I don't like either of them, and I've never waited on either of them to make something happen for me. That is a freedom that is so unbelievable because they can't control your mind then. They can't control your happiness. I used to remember I read a book somewhere, and I don't remember what it is. I'd give credit to it, but it was, I bring my happiness with me. I bring my sunshine with me. When I walk in the room, I bring my own sunshine. When I get up every day, I bring my own sunshine. When I go out and live my life, I bring my own opportunity. And thank God that we have it. That's what Thanksgiving's about. Thanking God that we have that opportunity, right? So what are you going to do this year? Same old thing? Eat a lot of food, drink a lot of booze, watch a little football, fall asleep, get back up the next day and do it all over again? Or are you going to use this day as a reminder to give thanks for the opportunities that are bestowed upon us this year? This opportunity, this time, this place, and this country. But remember, it's not just money. It's that lifestyle. Have a great day. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you later.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley radio show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers. The Del Walmsley show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.